I have no problem with that.
Witty comeback.
No, I have no problem.
Insert witty comeback here.
No, I was just encouraging it. Like, burn the house down for art,
Burn
man.
it all down.
Burn it down.
Burn it all down.
On this episode of Art of the Short, Lil Shorty, Jori and Bethers read to you a story about eggs. Or rather, a human birthing an egg and the emotionally complex experience of pregnancy.
We'd like to remind you that all episodes of Art of the Short contain explicit content, and that a link to this week's short story will be provided in the show notes just for you.
Art of the Short is an interactive literary art installation.
Our Lil Shorty episodes feature the not-so-known storytellers, where Jori and Bethers read a short story by you. Yes, a short story written by you, and of course we'll make art of our interpretations.
Join the conversation and send us your artwork to add to the gallery at artoftheshort.com, and follow the installation on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Art of the Short to see what others think of this short story through their art. Bethany, hi. Hi, Bethany. Bethers.
Does everyone know your middle name?
No, but we don't talk about that on here.
Exactly, because you talk about my name in all of its iterations.
Yeah, but everyone calls you Bethers, Donners, Peters. Everyone calls you that.
No, you're the only human that's ever said that combination of syllables.
Yeah, but it was like genius when it came out of my mouth.
You know, I had a friend who knew that friends called me Bethers, and one time he wrote it Bethels.
Oh.
And I think about that all the time.
Bethel. So it sounds very like,
Victorian.
I don't know. When you said it, I heard like an organ play or something. Bethels in a cathedral. Oh my God. Okay, well, I know how I feel about my art for this episode. And it
How is that?
is...
How do you feel?
It is...
Racy?
It is...
Upsetting?
No.
Grotesque?
I mean, maybe all of the above to someone, but no.
This might be the time that we made the same art.
It's
It could have happened.
really, really, really possible.
Possible. Yes!
I was really inspired by like some 70s art house films.
Oh.
So you're in for a little treat. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Mine, I had to watch a YouTube tutorial.
Oh, that's a first.
So that's what I'll say about that.
Okay.
Took a class. I took a full art class
Holy
on this one.
manoli. Well, all right.
You can do it too, listener. You can do it too. I just Googled search terms and took an art class with Mrs. Art Teacher. I don't remember her name.
With missgoogleartteacher.youtube.com.
.net.org.
.net.org. I don't know why I think it's funny to just literally echo what you say.
You almost made me do a spit take on this expensive equipment.
.net.org. This week's short story is by author Lucy Zhang, software engineer, writer, and self-described anime lover. Zhang's work has been featured on The Boiler, Contrary, Diagram, Hobart, The Offing, and many, many more. She's a multi-award nominated New Jersey native, and to find more of her work, follow her socials at dango_ramen.
Featured on Thread Count, a literary journal, this is Hatchling by Lucy Zhang. When the egg popped out of her vagina, the woman recalled their old chicken, Little Red, who'd lay one egg every 2 days, and how she had dropped one of Little Red's eggs on the ground, its bright, golden, paprika-enriched yolk spilling over her Velcro sneakers. She had wanted to be helpful to her grandparents, surprise them with one less chore before they dropped her off at daycare, not expecting the egg to be covered in poop when she reached her hand into the coop. Grandpa gave her a beating, although not for long a victim to her teary face. Still, she cried, heart heavy with guilt which could only be lessened if Grandpa reassured her that it was fine to lose an egg. But eggs were expensive, and Grandpa never lied. So the guilt continued to plague her as she went to daycare and was forced to memorize a song on the recorder to receive lunch which she could never finish eating in time, so she never got to play with the Play-Doh before the kids were called back for nap time, and all in all, it was not a great day. It was about the size of a duck egg, heavier and larger than a chicken egg, a nice, firm fit in her palm, a robust shell that held up under the firm pressure of her fingers. She wiped off the trail of blood from the ivory shell, without blemishes or bumps or cracks, and placed it on her windowsill, under the sun, cushioning it with scarves she never wore, the type that made you look more ethereal than warm, more hazard to whimsical tree branches than ripple. She drew the curtains before staggering to the bathroom, trailing droplets of blood, stomach suddenly cramping, a bit nauseous and tired. She cursed as she failed to rip a square of toilet paper along the perforation and tore off an arm's length of Charmin to wipe the blood running down her leg. Water dripped like a metronome from the faucet into the dusty bathtub. Today seemed like a day to indulge, she figured, as she twisted the faucet to the end, and water crashed out onto the porcelain, steam covering the mirror. As she submerged her body in water, she rested her hand on her flat stomach, echoing like a hollow gorge. She closed her eyes. What would he say when he found out she had laid an egg? Not that she'd tell her husband anything. What bad timing for the egg to pop out just 3 days after she'd peed on the pink strip and announced that they'd finally have a child. She'd leave the gynecologist to tell them that she was no longer pregnant. A bundle of cells lost before you could call it human. Could she even be sure she was no longer pregnant? It was only intuition, although, as Grandma had said, don't underestimate a mother's instinct. She lifted herself out of the tub, legs clumsy like she hadn't used them in weeks, body heavy like it was trying to drag her back into the hot water. If only Grandpa hadn't died so suddenly. If only he hadn't been so frugal, despite the money her parents and aunts and uncles sent every month. If only he hadn't woken up at 4 a.m. to fill up the hot water, billed slightly less during off hours, falling without anyone but a half-awake Grandma to get him to the emergency room. It was just a fall, but it seemed to shatter him. His head and body leaking water, building and losing pressure in all the wrong places. An 88-year-old engine finally sputtering to a halt. Well, you'd better stay alive for a long time so you can take care of our children, she had told her parents to comfort them. A promise she'd thought over for hours while pacing back and forth in the kitchen, waiting for the kettle to screech, after which she'd still been thinking about it until water spilled onto the ground and burned her foot. She wrapped a towel under her arms and fished for the old cleaning sponge behind the mirror cabinet. She rinsed it under the faucet and squeezed on a coin-sized dollop of detergent, letting the water form small bubbles. Then she got on her knees, one hand holding the towel up, the other scrubbing at red stains she trailed from the bed to the bathroom. Best vanish any sources of worry before her husband got home. "We're at the age where people are starting to die," she had told him. "Don't remind me," he replied. After she finished scrubbing, her knees imprinted with carpet marks, she sat in front of the egg, trying to figure out if she should throw it away or wait for it to do something, like hatch, because that's what eggs were supposed to do, right? It was the longest she'd ever spent sitting and staring since college, when she'd been subjected to 2-hour-long lectures from professors who hadn't rehearsed their presentation and acted surprised every time they hit the clicker and saw the next slide. Just as the dimming sun tempted her to lay her head on the sill, she spotted the faintest of cracks. Barely even a crack. Just a line slightly longer than a splinter. It grew so slowly, she first thought it was a stray eyelash. But the longer it got, the faster it grew, like roots stretching across the egg, accelerating to her heartbeat, trying to both hold it in place and assure its destruction. A piece of shell fell off. Several more followed until it shattered, a pile of chipped ivory chunks she'd toss into the soil later as compost. There was nothing. Like the egg's heaviness had been sucked dry the moment it was exposed to the atmosphere. What a relief, she thought, as she gathered pieces of shell stuck to the carpet. Another Little Shorty.
That was like almost harmonizing, wasn't it all?
I was looking deep into your eyes, though, so. Okay, guys. Hey, guys. We've never addressed our readers as guys. I'm so sorry, dear readers, dear listeners.
Hey.
Here we go. I've got some sort of video clip. Oh, shit. I just looked at it. I was only listening.
Some 70s art house shit right there.
I hope this goes on forever so I can just start talking over it. Oh, is that the end?
Yeah.
I can't believe we've made it this far without Jori bringing out her recorders. She has orchestra-level recorders in 3 keys. Is that true?
I had to play the recorder because she mentions it, and then I put it in reverse
Oh.
to get real psychedelic, y'all.
Oh, she
I
loves
got,
to
like,
put shit in reverse this one. She said front ways, not me. Don't know her.
I needed it to be like a little more, psychedelic.
Okay, well, let me tell you what I'm seeing, because I couldn't even look at it. I was only listening to the performance. Okay, so we've got like, oh shit.
You can turn the sound off now and just look at
I
look
can't,
at it.
though. But I can't. It's like urgent, too.
Yeah.
It is scary. Okay, so it's like, it's an egg. I'm trying to tell you. It's an egg sitting in like crumpled metallic looking paper, right? Mm-hmm. And
Oh my god. Everyone's turning this off because the backwards recorder keeps
I don't
playing
know what
over
to
and
do
over.
because I need to be able to look. Okay, so then there's like colors over the egg and like light hitting the egg with like a shadow and the light, and the colors are transitioning from black, blue, green, red, yellow, gold, blue to accompany the recorder performance.
And basically that's it. That's it.
Wow.
It ends with a brilliant red because it felt alarming.
Alarming. And the blood. I wanted to do blood, but I didn't do it. I wanted to do
She
blood.
gave an egg out of her body with some blood and,
Don't you know?
and then I started getting flashes of the 70s art house and I was like, throw a recorder on that and we call it a day.
I feel as if I'll be disappointed to not get recorder art for all of our future submissions.
That was my only focus, to do this like weird 70s art egg house film with recorder.
Egg House.
Art egg house.
Art Egg House.
Did I say that?
Egg House, which is wonderful. That's a really specific genre, a very niche genre, Art Egg House. Well, I'd like to tell you that I also participated in Art Egg House, and I think it's finally happened. I think we finally both did similar art.
Okay, so let me look. Okay. I mean, I'm surprised it didn't happen sooner, if I'm honest.
Surprised.
Oh my god, so here we go. Here we effing go, for fuck's sake. Lil Bethels over here it's actually beautiful, and I've been thinking about this lately, and I'm sorry we'll get to the art, but everyone listen to me now. Bethany
I agree with my point that I made earlier.
I agree with what I'm about to say. Bethany does artwork that people would buy, like actually purchase and put into their house. What I have here is quite beautiful and like very well done. It looks like it's an egg.
It is an egg.
And
that is it. There's nothing else to say.
It's on a surface, though, and it's like black and white charcoal or pencil or something. And it's just beautifully shaded.
Yeah, we both just did an egg.
Yeah.
But you know why? Because Lucy Zhang, because you already wrote a story that picked the perfect metaphor. You already picked the perfect inspiration to talk about the subject that you're trying to talk about, an egg. I thought a lot about umbilical cords. I thought a lot about blood. I thought a lot about empty wombs. I thought a lot about...
Okay, but I'm telling you, though, your art teacher would be proud of this. The shading and the light.
Thank you, dear Google, Mrs. YouTube teacher.
You did so good, though. Oh, my God. That's really great.
I'm good at art. That's why we're doing this. But I was just following directions. Oh, my God. I'm on one today.
That is on one.
So anyway, I'm trying to tell you that Lucy Zhang already did it. She already nailed it.
Yeah.
She nailed it.
Yeah.
Like, I loved, Lucy, thank you for letting us read this. I loved how visceral it was. Like, I'm obsessed with bodies. And, like, I loved just, like, carpet marks on her knees. Like, describing how she held the towel, describing how you pulled the toilet paper. Like, I loved the hotness of the water and the dustiness of the bathtub. Like, I was obsessed. Like, I really enjoyed this story. And
this is an art of the short first. This is going to go down in history. We finally made the same.
Mark the calendars.
Goddamn art.
We finally did it. Thanks, Lucy Zhang. On the next episode of Art of the Short, we'll be reading Everyone Talks by Lee Child. As always, a free link to this short story is in our show notes for you.
Also, as always, we want to hear and see your artwork. We want to hear what you have to say about this story.
Show us those eggs.
Or something else. Like, show us something that we maybe didn't grasp onto. Because that's what I was left with.
I was just like, blood, eggs, blood.
So please, please, please join this conversation. Send us your artwork at artoftheshort.com and follow the installation on Twitter, on Facebook, and on Instagram at Art of the Short. Well, okay, Bethany, bye.
Right up my egg alley.
Oh.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye. Slate little hatchling.
You slate little hatchling.
Oh, if you think I didn't hear that... I think it's funnier to watch than you think it is. Like watching it. It's really funny.